Hello, everybody. Welcome to TICPodcast. It's a nice Sunday morning. Hope you're getting a good day started. I'm going to go grocery shopping later today. And I had kind of like a random thought. I was thinking to myself last night how action movies are defined by their era. And, last night it was about 12 in the morning. And I put on Quantum of Solace, 007, Daniel Craig, James Bond, 2008, I think. Yeah. And, it really reminded me of going to the movies and seeing stuff that was 2000s. Like you watch Quantum of Solace and it has every trope that you would get out of a typical action movie in the 2000s. You had that super grittiness. Everything was scowling. Everything was gray. Everything was brown. So everybody was scowling. And it was like the Jason Bourne style. And you know what I'm talking about when Bourne Identity came out in 2002 and that movie kind of changed action movies forever. I feel like things after that moment, we had like a whole decade full of like these just super like hyper realistic, quick edit, fast fight scenes. And Quantum of Solace, I saw it about 40 minutes in, and we got tons of action in the first 40 minutes. Like, I've been watching a lot of 90s movies, and usually there's about like 4 big fights. And, in 2000s action movies, it's like nonstop. Like, you watch a Michael Bay movie, it's literally like too much action. Like, any Transformers movie by Michael Bay, it's like explosions every 5 minutes. It's insane. It's kind of bad for you. So, I was thinking to myself how action movies now are so different. Like maybe 2000s action movies kind of weren't that good, but I think they kind of were. They were definitely a style. And, we got a lot of really good resurgence of Hong Kong style action in the 2010s. Stuff like Dread, the Raid series, Ong Bak, and we got the infamous John Wick series. So, we definitely had some really big winners when it came to action cinema in the 2010s, but it was mostly dominated by superhero movies. And in the 2020s, action movies had started to come back, but they are not doing well. The Expendables 4 killed the franchise. It had 50 Cent and Megan Fox, who had no business being in the movie other than the fact that they were using their star power to be in the movie. Like, I see 50 Cent try to act. He did it a couple times. He's not an actor. And just because he's buff doesn't mean he should be trying to do action movies. He's ridiculous. And then Megan Fox is always known as being a bad actress. She can look good, but she is not an actress. She should not be acting. And it was when I saw the trailer for Expendables 4, everything felt so bright. I mean, you look at Bullet Train, that movie is like saturated. Beekeeper, super saturated. Like, I think there's kind of like a trend going when it comes to these action movies now where they need to be bright. Everything needs to be bright. We had like the 2000s where everything was brown and desaturated. Now everything is colorful. And, not in a fun way, like it hurts my eyes way. Michael Bay made a movie recently, Ambulance, with LA in it, because get it, it's in LA. I didn't see it, but when I saw the trailer, I'm like, oh wow, Michael Bay's using like new cameras instead of like the same stuff he's been using since The Island. But I think that, action movies have been kind of like quietly ending. We get more science fiction movies like Dune and Furiosa and a lot of shows. I feel like instead of getting like straight action shows, we just get like these spy shows or military shows. And, they don't really feel like action shows. They feel more like gritty military or espionage stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I miss when I could just watch a dumb action movie and it would be like a shootout fest. A bit ago, I watched a 90s flick that was kind of hard to watch, but still a really good movie. It was called The Way of the Gun. It was directed by the guy who wrote The Usual Suspects. And honestly, the choreography in that movie is some of the best I've seen since John Wick. Like, we didn't get a good, like, choreographed fight scene, gunfight, until John Wick in 2014. And Way of the Gun came out in 2000. But I still think it's a 90s movie. And, we just don't get that kind of, like, really great choreography anymore. When I saw the trailer for the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith reboot, it looked underwhelming. Like the word is underwhelming. Like it didn't look like there was much action at all for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The first movie was such a stylish, fun, good time and lots of explosions. It was a PG-13 with tons of spice. And I think the show was rated R, the reboot, but I mean, like, it was pretty boring. And going back to 007, we had a 2020's 007 movie, No Time to Die, and I felt like that movie was so very of its era. Like, everybody looked like they were an Instagram model. The costume design was awful. Everyone looked terrible except Bond, because Bond never looks bad. But, the bad guys, they looked goofy. They look silly. I don't know what the hell is going on with like fashion these days. But the whole like Gucci like look, it just doesn't scream Bond to me. And we had a new director, and I don't know. I was not a fan of the action in No Time to Die. The opening big scene, Bond is unarmed and really doesn't do a whole lot. He just kind of dodges a motorcycle. And I think that kind of sums up how action movies are. They just don't feel like they have good direction. They don't feel like they have good sense of color. They have awful set design. They have awful, choreography. I think things are in a spot where they need to rein it back. I think the action movie genre is kind of like unsure of itself right now, and that's kind of the word I'm looking for. Like, No Time to Die was unsure of itself, and honestly, I don't know if the action genre wants to exist. It's become kind of molded into science fiction movies and superhero movies, and it's like it's just a part of doing another movie. It's no longer its own thing. So that was kind of my point. That was basically what I wanted to say. I just it was late at night and I wanted to watch something, and I definitely was thinking like, like you can kind of get a thermostat of movies by watching it in the decade. And, this is known. Like, you watch a movie from any decade and they are very of its time. 2020s has been kind of like the year of the A24 movies and, your dramas. It's not really my thing, but, movies are very modern now. Definitely as far removed as you can get from like the 80s and 90s. So, I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm gonna go grocery shopping. It's kind of like the perfect time to strike. It's in the morning and it's on a Sunday, so I think I will not have a huge line. I'll see you later, and just have a good one. Enjoy the summer. Bye bye.